Welcome to The Beat, everyone. I am Jason Johnson in for Ari Melber. We start with a battle at the border. President-elect Trump's incoming administration is facing its first policy clash over a controversial plan to curb illegal immigration through mass deportations. Leaders of sanctuary cities and blue states are gearing up to fight. Los Angeles passing an ordinance, Denver and Chicago mayors now speaking out. In a moment, I will speak with one Democratic mayor joining the resistance. But first, the Washington Post reporting Trump's administration is eyeing a, quote, funding showdown. Advisors reportedly plotting to, quote, unilaterally strip federal resources from Chicago and other Democratic-run cities if they refuse to participate in deportations, including withholding federal funds. Chicago's mayor is clapping back, telling the Washington Post, quote, there will not be any cooperation with ICE deportations, saying the city will challenge any threats to its funding. Trump's appointed border czar is already making blatant threats to local officials, visiting the border this week alongside Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation. We're not waiting until January. We're already talking. We're already planning. We're going to put a plan in place and secure this nation at the highest level it's ever seen. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. Don't test us.
They are already working. NBC News reporting local law enforcement agencies are preparing to ramp up a controversial program allowing them to partner with ICE to bolster manpower amid Trump's deportation efforts. Trump was clear in his campaign, and now he's making it priority one. Here with me to discuss is Mark Thompson, radio host, reverend, and civil rights activist, and Lee Gallant, attorney and deputy director of the Immigrants' Rights Project at the ACLU. Reverend, I will start with you. I know this is not everybody's belief system, but from a moral perspective, many of the places that are sanctuary cities in the United States are looking after people who are distressed, who are in danger, who have been victims of policies that sometimes have been supported by previous American administrations. So just from a moral standpoint, what does it say about this incoming administration that they're trying to kick out the least of these during the season where we're supposed to be looking after those who can't take care of themselves?
Well, first of all, let me commend you, Dr. Johnson, for choosing this topic in this season, and particularly on Thanksgiving Eve, when Thanksgiving, there would be no Thanksgiving if it were not for immigration. It was the early colonists who immigrated here and took over the land, and that is why we celebrate Thanksgiving, obviously, because of some peace that was made to commemorate this day, although it's questionable whether that peace really happened. So morally, yes, this is out of order. And if Trump would ever bother to open the Bibles that he's hawking, it said, cursed is the one who does not provide justice to the foreigner or to the immigrant. I don't think they can do anything, Jason. I don't think they can do anything in these cities, but it serves a purpose, because his supporters like to see the bluster. They like to see the saber rattling. I don't think they can go through with it, and they know they can. It is impossible to do it. Not only is it impossible, it is morally wrong.
So, Lee, I always say this, I'm not a lawyer, I don't play one on TV. Legally, what standing does the incoming administration have to force cities to deport people who are in sanctuary cities? And I want to make it clear to the audience, oftentimes people in sanctuary cities, they may also be refugees. They may actually be here legally, even if they are not documented, because they've been accepted as refugees. So is there a legal standing to what the Trump administration, incoming Trump administration, claims they want to do?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I think there are going to be enormous court battles if they try to cut funding. Those occurred during the first Trump administration. I think they're going to be heightened now, and I think you are going to see blue states pushing back to say, look, you can't cut our funding for these reasons. How those play out, we'll have to see, but I think those are going to be enormous legal battles. But to your point, I mean, we're talking about going into cities, not just blue cities, all cities, rounding up people who have been living here for a long time, contributing don't have criminal convictions. It's going to result in families being separated, U.S. citizen children being sent to foster care. It's not good for the economy. It's not good as a matter of policy. And we will do everything we can to stop it legally to ensure that we have a balanced immigration system. Look, we're not oblivious to the fact that people want immigration reform. But I think when people see what they're proposing in practice, not just sort of, bland statements, but actually what it looks like in practice, I think people will hopefully push back and say, well, we don't want families to be separated again. We don't want the military in our streets. So we'll see how that plays out. But it's going to require more than just the courts. It's going to require the public saying, wait, that's not what we meant by immigration reform.
Very quick, because we're running up on a break. Reverend, I want to play you just a quick clip from Steve Miller and get your response on the other side.
Who's going to stand up and say the cartels are gone, the criminal migrants are gone, the gangs are gone, America is for Americans and Americans only?
Your thoughts really quickly on whether or not America will have a problem with seeing this happen.
Well, I think as has been said, people will realize what this is and turn against it. But unfortunately, we're about to see the application of WWE entertainment and sparring applied over the next 4 years. That's all this is about. It's a sensationalism and it's drama.